Now, we're going to talk a little bit about grammar. A lot of people have been asking me recently how or when we use being in English. Okay, so we have the verb to be, and people want to know how to use being in English. So how to transform this verb and when we do this. Now, here is a sentence that I think is really useful that is going to help you with this. I enjoy being here. I enjoy being here. So I'll put this in the chat as well. I enjoy being here. This is an example of verb patterns. Now, a verb pattern is when we have two verbs together, and the second verb, it's either in the infinitive, the bare infinitive, or the gerund, depending on the first verb. So sometimes it's to be, sometimes it's be, sometimes it's being. I'm going to give you some examples in the chat. The first one is I enjoy being here, which we've just seen. So after enjoy, we have the verb or the conjugation being. But after certain verbs, then we have the conjugation just be. Let me be. Let me be. Okay? Just let me be. So in this case, to be changes to be. Let me be. And then when we use to be is, for example, I love to be beside the seaside. Now, sometimes we can say I love being by the seaside, but this is a song. Oh, I do love to be beside the seaside. This is a song that we used to sing when we went to the beach as a kid, when I was a kid. So I love to be beside the seaside. This is an example of when we use to be. So we use being after verbs where we have, after verbs that always have the gerund. Another example is I hate being late. This is another example. I enjoy being here. Those are types of verbs that we use with being. So that's one way. The next way is, and somebody's already left a good example, is this. Being a teacher, I know a lot about that. Being a teacher, I know a lot about that. Because Lolly Lolly says being a learner or an English learner is so enjoyable. So this is when we're using it. It's more as like a noun. Being a teacher, I know a lot about that. This is when we're using it at the start of a sentence, okay? So being a teacher, I know a lot about that. Being in America is amazing, okay? Or being in America right now is crazy because of the election. Watch my video on the election. Now, this last one is one that I really like. He's being a little silly right now. He's being a little silly right now. So what we're doing here, we're talking about somebody who is acting in that moment. He's being a little silly right now. Now, what you can say here is normally he's not silly, but right now he's being silly. So we tend to use this for actions and behaviors, especially when it's not that common or it's not normal for someone to be silly. You might hear people say you're being pathetic. You're being pathetic. Stop being pathetic. Another example of a verb pattern. Stop being pathetic. Stop being silly. Stop being pathetic. Pathetic. I love that word. Stop being pathetic. He's been a little selfish today. You know, he's been a little bit selfish today. So we're using it in the gerund to highlight it's a temporary thing. It's happening right now.